Welcome to Love and Abuse, the show about helping you identify poisonous communication and toxic behavior. You deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. That's why it's important that you learn to pinpoint manipulative and controlling behavior so that you keep your power and your sanity. I'm your host, Paul Coliani. Hello and welcome to Love and Abuse. I'm going to give you some of my insights on how you enable manipulative and controlling behavior. And you do so by being your wonderful self. You do so by showing compassion and generosity and support to someone who reciprocates by trying to control you, by trying to make you feel bad about yourself. And when that happens, you're actually reinforcing the bad behavior. How do you do this? What is happening when you are trying to be kind, you are empathetic, you are showing up in a way that is nurturing and supportive of another person, and they show up in a way that just seems cold-hearted, mean. And if it doesn't seem that way overtly, it's covert when you're having difficulties, that is. When you're with someone that is putting you through the paces of control and manipulation. And it's a very emotionally abusive setup where you show up in any type of relationship, be it romantic, family, friend, and you are trying to be kind. You are being generous. You are being empathetic. You will give your time and energy and sometimes money to these people. And they turn things around and make things your fault, make you feel responsible for doing things wrong. And so what normally happens is that your wonderful self turns on more kindness, turns on more support, turns on more generosity, becomes even more empathetic, and sees them as a victim. I'm not saying everyone does this. I'm saying this does happen. And it happens in relationships that are unhealthy and toxic because the other person is taking advantage of your kindness. They take advantage of your generosity, and they take advantage of everything that you appreciate about yourself and that others appreciate about you as well. Your self-respect starts to dissolve. Your self-trust, your self-love, your self-compassion, everything starts to disintegrate when you're with someone who doesn't have your best interest in mind. They're not there to support you. They're there to support themselves. And the nicer you are, the more they take advantage of it. And so this is somewhat extreme, but it does happen. And if you tuned into this show, it might be happening to you or someone you know. And if it is happening to someone you know, pass this show along. Pass information like this along. Because the people that are the kindest, most generous, most sincere people, when they end up with someone who's controlling and manipulative, it doesn't normally get better. It usually gets worse. And the kind person in any type of relationship ends up trying to give more and more and more until they themselves have nothing left to give. And at that point, that's when all of those wonderful qualities about themselves starts to disintegrate. And that disintegration that takes place keeps them in a situation that they don't necessarily want to be in, but they're not sure how to get out. Because now they've developed a trust and a bond with someone who's not very kind to them. They've developed a dependency on them. They've developed a relationship with them. And this could be a relationship that has started since they were born. This could be in a family. When someone you think you love and you think loves you, or you do love, and they do love you, but they show it in a way that's hurtful and harmful. I define love as supporting someone else's happiness, supporting someone else's path, even when you disagree with it. And when you're with someone and you can say, that person really supports my path. that person really supports what makes me happy. When you can say that, that is meaningful. That is empowering. That feels so good. And that to me is love. And that's the only kind of love that I believe matters in most relationships. Because when you have someone that supports your happiness and you're supporting their happiness, it works. It works well. But if you're supporting their happiness and they want you to feel bad, I don't see that as a relationship anymore. Whatever it is. And like I said, this could be family, friend, coworker, anyone. And when you don't have a relationship, what do you have? Now, when you look at this in the romantic sense, when you have a romantic partner that doesn't support your path to happiness, doesn't support what you want to do in your life, and only supports themselves, and also wants to make you feel bad for whatever reason, make you feel bad about yourself, make you feel responsible for all the problems in the relationship, make you feel guilty for wanting things for yourself, wanting to visit friends, wanting to visit family, make you feel guilty for all kinds of things. Guilt is a huge one for the controller and the manipulator. When you are with someone like that in a romantic way, then do you really have a relationship? In an equal sense, the way I just defined it, do you have a relationship? And this is an important question because if you think, well, I started this relationship and I'm committed to it and now I'm invested into it, then you really have to ask yourself if it really is a relationship. Has the initial contract been voided because of their behavior? And that contract is the commitment to each other's happiness, to each other's path in life. And it could be just a regular old romantic relationship, or it could be a marriage, it could be anything. Has the contract been voided by the behaviors of someone else that doesn't seem to have your best interest in mind anymore? At one time they may have. At one time maybe it was all about you. And then things settled down and it's about us. But when did it become about them? And you can tell when it's about them when you try to make them happy and they don't try to make you happy. Not that you have to make someone happy. I mean, you try to enjoy each other's company and be happy because they're with you and you do things for each other anyway. But there's a clear contrast when you're doing your best and humbly trying to make someone else happy. And when they just seem to be blaming and accusatory and always pointing the finger, there's no humbleness there. There's no kindness there. There is just someone there that wants you to feel bad so that you'll try harder. And this brings us back to what I was saying in the beginning, which is how are you enabling the bad behavior? How are you enabling the manipulative or the controlling behavior? And that happens because you try to be kinder in hopes they'll be nicer. But when they're not, and you keep returning kindness, what you end up doing is reinforcing their bad behavior. If you continue to try to be kinder and kinder and try harder and harder to fix things, to make yourself better, to improve yourself, to make them happy, and it never seems to work, then what you're doing isn't designed to work. It's designed to keep you in a state of feeling bad about yourself. And if you go through life feeling bad about yourself and that's what makes you kind, you need to take a look inside, a little bit deeper, and figure out why you continue to be kind if you get those kind of results. That doesn't mean I don't want you to be kind. You just have to be really careful if your kindness results in you feeling bad about yourself, results in someone else's bad behavior or disappointment in you. Because when you're kind to, quote, normal people, when you're kind to people that actually care, that have empathy, that want you to be happy, they're going to reciprocate. They're going to give you a smile. They're going to feel good that you did that for them. But when you have someone that knows that when you feel bad, you try harder and give more, they'll probably take more. And that's important for you to know. Are you continuing to give more and more to the person who continues to take because you think that will be the best course of action in hopes that they will be happier and then treat you better. Because you have to look at the trend. How has the trend been? Have you been supporting their bad behavior by being kinder and nicer and more compassionate and seeing them as the victim and seeing them as the one who needs your nurturing, who needs your support? Again, these are all qualities of a wonderful person, but being used against you and taken advantage of because they know you won't change, because that's who you are. And that's tough. And I just want you to be aware of that. If you find yourself doing that, ask yourself if it's getting good results. Ask yourself if it's making the relationship better. Ask yourself if you even have a relationship, because are you getting any type of behavior back that shows that they care about you, that they want you to be happy? When someone wants you to be happy, you know it. You feel it. You feel so supported, and you can make mistakes and they'll be forgiving. They may not forgive you on the first day, but they'll forgive you and they'll move on, because that's what a relationship is. It's moving on past the challenges and getting over the past. And they're not going to make you feel stupid. They're not going to make you feel like you make bad decisions. They're not going to make you feel like you're a bad person. And if they are doing that, then why would they choose someone who's not smart, a bad decision maker, and an overall bad person? What does that say about them? Because you're not, but that is one of the things you can say to them. Wow, if you really think I'm that stupid, why do you continue to be with me? I love that question. I really think that's a great question. If you think I'm a bad decision maker, why do you stay with me knowing that I could ruin things for us? You know, this is kind of where I go. I get a little sarcastic, and I make them face their own decisions of choosing me, who they think I am a terrible person or need so much help or can't run my life right or whatever. I make them face their decision to stay with me if that happens. This isn't my advice. I'm not telling you that that's what you should do, but I am saying that it does put into question, if they continue to put you down, why would they want to be with someone that they keep putting down? That doesn't sound like a very happy life for them. I would like to ask them that question. But no matter what, I want you to be aware of your behavior and how it enables their behavior toward you. What is the cause and effect? If they continue to put you down, treat you badly, make you feel bad about yourself, was it your kindness that led to that? And if so, does that make sense? Should that be the way a relationship goes? You know, I'm all for standing up and saying, look, I'm being kind to you and you're trying to make me feel bad about myself. Why? And see where it goes. It's not necessarily a winnable argument. It's not necessarily something that's going to give you a one-up on anything, because if they are like this, they're probably going to find ways to make you feel bad for even asking that question. But I just want you to be aware of this. This is why this show exists. This is why I am here spreading this information, so that you don't feel like you're going crazy. You don't feel like nobody understands what's going on in your life because you're dealing with this person and nobody sees this side of this person, but you experience it every day. And it's a compound effect of little things every day that, taken out of context, one behavior wouldn't necessarily be bad to someone looking in from the outside. But since you experience it every single day or often, it slowly wears you down. And I don't want you to get worn down. I don't want you to get to that point. I want you to keep your power, because you're important. You really are. Share this with others that might benefit. Love and Abuse is the official podcast of the Mean Workbook, an assessment and healing guide for difficult relationships. If you want to pinpoint the exact behaviors causing difficulties in your relationship, head over to loveandabuse.com. And if you've already purchased the Mean Workbook and want to join the private Facebook peer support group to connect with others that are going through a similar circumstance as you, send an email to paul@loveandabuse.com and tell me the email you used to purchase the workbook, and I'll send you the invite to the group. Because of the nature of the group, membership is carefully monitored so that people with not so good intentions aren't allowed in. That's why we limit it to those who have the workbook. And remember, this show exists to remind you that you are not alone and you are not going crazy. You deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. You deserve honesty and sincerity. You deserve to be treated as worthy and significant, because you are. Thank you for joining me today. We'll talk again soon.